Welcome to the Access to Innovators podcast, powered by the premier life skills university, High Point University.
Hi, thank you for joining us today. My name is Danny Shay, and I'm a junior and a sports media major here at High Point University from Long Island, New York. Today, I'm going one-on-one with 5 questions for retired sports columnist for the Boston Globe and High Point University sports reporter in residence, Bob Ryan. In 2015, he received the Penn/ESPN Lifetime Achievement Award for literary sports writing. He's also received the Dick Schaap Award for Outstanding Journalism, the Kurt Gowdy Award from the Basketball Hall of Fame. He's in the College Basketball Writers and New England Basketball Hall of Fame. The Associated Press awarded him National Sports Writer of the Year, and he received the National Sportscasters and Sports Writers Association National Sports Writer of the Year 4 times in 2000, 2007, 2008, and 2009. Bob, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us today.
Very nice to be here, Danny.
So before we really dive into it about you, I know we mentioned it a little bit before we hopped on the mics here, but I just want to quickly get your thoughts on this year's Celtics squad. I know you cover them forever with the Globe, obviously. Jason Tatum having a fantastic season, sitting top 5 in the East. I mean, you got to be pretty excited about this team now.
When the season started, and they got off to a very, to be polite, sluggish start. And showed an early habit of losing leads, substantial leads, interspersed with some moments of good play. I said, this team is annoying. They're going to be an annoying team. Now fast forward to roughly February 1. They're still stumbling around in the 500 range. And I said, give me a good month. Give me a good month. Just show me what you can do in a month. Well, they have done that. They are doing that. They have now vaulted themselves into the discussion that they could actually win the East regular season. They're right there with Miami and Milwaukee and Philly. And so what's happened? The light bulbs have gone off, if you will, in the heads of the key people. Jason Tatum, who was criticized by Marcus Smart, called out in December for ball hogging in the fourth quarter, or not recognizing there were 4 other guys, etc., has calibrated his game to where he's become one of the top 5 or 6 players in the league over the last month. And Jaylen Brown is solid. He just has to stay healthy. He's doing his game. But here's one of the keys. Marcus Smart, who I'm a charter member of the Marcus Smart fan club from the time he joined this team almost 8 years ago. He is a tenacious defensive player. He makes plays that you can't compute. You know, he's almost reckless out there, but he's fearless. But I would have said 6 weeks ago, stop kidding me that he's a point guard. He's not a point guard, and they really need a true point guard. Suddenly, he has been acting as a point guard, reaching his peak against the Utah Jazz last night, when in the course of getting a career-high 13 assists, he only took 3 shots. It's nothing like that happened the first 7 years. Nothing. I mean, so he's reinvented himself as a legitimate point guard without sacrificing the other things he does at the other end, which make him a special player. So that's part of the reason. One other thing, and I'll get off the soapbox a little bit. Robert Williams. Robert Williams was a great draft pick, as it turns out, that Danny Ainge made on potential. The key with Robert Williams, as we said for the first couple of years, stay in the game. Get in the game. It was one thing after the other, a litany of injuries. And because when he's out there, he is a modern big man, a rim protector, alley-oop guy, pick-and-roll guy, defensive, really a presence. And he's playing great basketball. And he's basically now, he missed a game the other day. He's got tendonitis. and when the playoffs come, if he's not available and ready to do what he does well, they're not going anywhere. But if you put all their pieces together now, and the fifth starter is Al Horford, who just does a little bit of everything and has been rejuvenated at age 35. And the coach, who is a rookie coach, Ime Udoka, whatever he was preaching, they didn't seem to be selling. They weren't buying back in November and December. They are now, and it's all working. It's all falling into place.
So obviously, we'll cross back to the Celtics again in a little bit here, but back into you. I mean, you've been writing for the Globe since 1968, multiple ESPN appearances in there as well. I think a lot of people are, but me specifically, I'm very curious to know how you've just been able to have so much sustained success for a great period of time. And What would you say helped you most adapt to the changes in both the sports world and the media industries as well?
All the changes that take place are self-evident, and it's a different business, different techniques. I mean, I started out typing a typewriter, having to take a story on the road to the Western Union office to find them to send a telegram thing back to the office, etc. To go where now, everything is electronic and instant and fine. I mean, the technology is totally and utterly different than it was when I started. The relationships are all kinds of, almost everything is different, but one thing was remain constant for me. It's all about the games. It's all about the competition. It's all about sport. If you truly love sport, if you're truly intrigued by the competition, you respect the past and you honor the past, but you are always ready to see what's new and different. To me, it's very logical. It's simple. When I started, I did take note that there were many people, guys as young as in their 40s, but definitely by the time that some were in their 50s, that were jaded and bored and were metaphorically mailing it in. And I said, I don't want to be one of those guys. But I never it's never even come close to being one of those guys. I still like the games. I mean, that's it. It's that simple.
Yeah, I mean, I know I love going to games. That's why I want to get into this business. I love sports as a whole. I talk to my family and friends all the time. They're like, will you stop talking about sports and talk about something else fun? So I definitely understand where you're coming from that aspect. I mean, you've been able to cover tons of events throughout the years, teams throughout the years, especially during your time with the Globe, like we mentioned earlier. Which player or owner throughout your career have you enjoyed covering the most, and why?
Owners, huh?
Anyone in the sports world. Owners,
actually, the easiest question for me is who's your best interview, who's your favorite subject, or the best player I covered was Larry Bird. Let's get on the table. Followed closely by John Havlicek, that I directly covered. Mm-hmm. But my favorite personality, my favorite subject, who was a combination of Hall of Fame. He was in the Hall of Fame basketball, electrifying style, and also one of the most as intellectually curious a person as I covered, a fascinating personality, full of surprises all the time. That was Dave Cowens of the Boston Celtics, and I've never encountered anybody who put all those those things together in the same package as Dave Cowens. It's actually the very easy answer for me in that regard.
So you joined HPU's leadership lineup of in-residence faculty in 2019, which was my freshman year. I'm just curious, what attracted you to High Point? Like, what did you see in the High Point students that made you say, I'd love to be able to go help those guys
first
out?
of all, I had come here in the course of making a tour, but going to many college campuses over a couple of years to do classes and talk about journalism. I volunteered. I put myself out there. I went to many places, Alabama, Northwestern, Syracuse, Indiana, Cincinnati, Northern Iowa, Berry College in Savannah, Georgia, on. And one of them was High Point. And High Point adopted me rather than the other way around. I mean, Bobby Hayes, specifically, became I guess I should say, a patron of mine, recommended me, and I feel comfortable here. And also, let's face it, there's no place like High Point.
No.
You can't explain High Point to the people at home. You can't because there's no frame. What frame of reference is there?
The best one I can describe it with is the Disney World of college campuses.
I say, it's like a country club of college campus. I mean, the facilities are unmatched. The breadth of experience available to a student. I can go on. It's a fascinating place. I'm really. It's fun for me to come.
As a quick follow up to that, you mentioned the facilities. I know that I've been able to walk around the brand new Quabain Arena with you, the Quabain Center. What about this arena have you seen that, like, does it differentiate from any other arenas that you've seen before? And if so, like, what specifically?
Well, once you get inside, it's an arena, although there were a little problem in the beginning, which I pointed out to them, which was that the scoreboards were situated, blocked by things so that you couldn't, if you were a player, you could not see the scoreboard, how much time was left in the game, and rather a major flaw that was, I understand it's been corrected.
Yes.
But it's a beautiful arena, and but let's face it, it's an arena that also is 1/3 of a facility, because the other 2/3 include a conference center and a boutique hotel where I am staying. And I tell you, folks, it is a plush place, and there's no place like it in America. There's no other arena of that is also part of that kind of a complex, which is so High Point, so neato. Let's face it.
And my final question for you, Mr. Ryan, I can't thank you enough for joining us here again today, is I know you've come into a couple of my classes that I've been in before. You've given some great advice. But if you had one piece of advice for an aspiring journalist or a sports media student or anything like that wants to come to High Point, what would that piece of advice be?
Well, wherever you go, there's not specific to High Point, and this holds true as well for people who want to go into broadcast as well as print. And now more and more, it's slanted toward the broadcast. As the print opportunities are very have been reduced substantially. But I still would recommend it for somebody who really wants to do it. It's a great, fulfilling life, but. Reading. You have to be a reader, and it's the most basic thing that I can say, but the most important foundation of, because and it's very simple. I think I can explain it. Your brain is basically a computer, and you're storing the information, you're storing the anecdotes, you're storing the vocabulary, you're storing the experiences. You don't know at any given point in time, on any given day, in any moment, when you're going to need to summon whatever it is that you need to summon, and how you're going to have it as a rule. And reading gives you that opportunity to have that instant access. And think about broadcasting. It's all about words. It's about painting sports. If you broadcast, painting pictures, whatever. And you need a vocabulary to do that. And you need. But so it's that simple. It starts with that. I cannot recommend or stress enough the importance of being a reader. And I mean, if reading isn't something that you're doing in some form, basically 365 days a year, I think you're on the wrong track.
Well, Mr. Ryan, thank you so much for sharing your extraordinary advice and achievements with us today. We are so grateful for your commitment to mentoring HPU students and joining a remarkable, innovative program that inspires our students and campus community. Thank you for all joining me at High Point University. Have a great day.